Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. The carnage is about to begin. We've had our break in FPL now. January has been a quiet month. Well, not any longer. Dean, I'm fed up of the EFL Cup and the FA Cup. Get me back to Premier League, FPL, game week deadlines every single week now, pretty much. I think there's 1 week off between now and the end of the season.
Is there really? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm fed up with those competitions too because Fulham got dumped out of both of them. So, yeah, my season's basically over on a supporting front. I'll tell you what was an interesting take from my perspective. So I obviously went to the Fulham-Liverpool game. And it was amazing. Like, it was a brilliant night at Fulham. And that atmosphere was brilliant, especially like once we got back in the game. But you know what? An unexpected twist. I missed VAR.
Did you? Did you actually go, I wish we had it for this?
Yeah, because there was 2 times when I thought we could have a penalty there. And the hope is gone. As soon as the moment's gone, the hope's gone. And I've forgotten what that feels like. And obviously with VAR, you get the other side of it where the other team has those moments and like your dread is there that you're going to lose the spot kick to them. But there was one in particular in the Fulham-Liverpool game. And from where I was like, that's a foul. That is a foul. It's a pen. And I was kind of looking at the ref. Ref's like, no. And I'm like, oh, it's got... And I'm like, oh, no. That's it. It's gone. The hope is gone of that being a penalty. So, like, it was a very strange feeling because it was definitely, you know, not a feeling I was expecting to have. But
I had the same feeling, mate, because I was at the Chelsea-Villa game, which was FA Cup, and was unaware, because I'd just seen the EFL Cup games, if VAR was even being used in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And Villa score a goal, which I thought was blatantly handball. It was given. And then 2 minutes later, it's announced VAR are checking this. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know VAR was a thing today. And Douglas Luiz did handball it, as you
did handball it. Yeah, so very strange feeling. Someone just asked if the Fulham new stand is open yet. No, like, absolute joke. That stand is still not going to be fully open at the start of next season.
What? And I feel like Liverpool's stand started after and is already done.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Is it London? Is it London thing? Is it like because of London prices and delays and?
No, I don't know. There's various things they're blaming on it, but they're like everyone was like, "Well, start next season, it's ready." And now there's kind of been an announcement, like the supporters group or whatever have kind of made a announcement because they've been speaking to the club and they're like, it's not going to be open at the start of next season. They're hoping by the late stages of next season it'll be fully. What? Literally been years and years. Like COVID, it started basically. Very frustrating. Fulham's been a weird place recently, but we also did a fan boycott for the game against Newcastle.
Laura Woods, well played. ITV.
Yeah, and I'd kind of played a small part in getting ITV some information on the boycott.
Good man.
And so they were like, basically one of the other reporters that works for ITV messaged me. She's like, "You're the person that will know about this. We're going to do a little section on the fact that fans might not be coming. What's the score?" So I basically gave some background, and then the game starts. Like there was definitely spaces, and the attendance was like nearly 19,000 at Fulham. Mate, I don't know anyone that went to that game. I know a lot of Fulham supporters, both in real life and online.
All the ones you do podcasts with, and none of them went. No,
not a single one went to that game. The night before that game, the Hammersmith end was half empty. Half the tickets were not sold in that stand. Suddenly, it came to kick-off. Those seats were taken.
Interesting.
They've done a sneaky giveaway. They have done a sneaky giveaway to fill up those seats. Very strange.
When it's on
Very
TV.
strange. Yeah, very strange that. Very weird. British says, Dean, can we talk about Noosa? Spurs robbed by the Bees. Did you see that Chelsea made a late inquiry over Noosa?
Of course they did. We
Honestly,
can't
would you
go
not
completely
give
without
it
buying
up?
a wide forward in January. Like, it
You
wouldn't be the
just
same.
give it up.
It was like Madueke last window. It came out of nowhere. It was late. Like, obviously,
Like
Mudryk.
Madueke. Now you want Noosa. Just gonna do this every transfer window. Probably hadn't heard of him until 2 weeks ago.
Todd Bowley was told by someone he's good and young, and you could put him on a long-term deal on quite low wages. And he went, "Oh, that's the demographic we're looking for. Never mind the abilities on the pitch. It was all the other things Todd Bowley liked."
Yeah, what an asset for next season if he's at Brentford though.
It'll be like 5 million as well. It'll be like,
that's the
because he's
thing.
Brentford, it'll be 6 million max.
That'd be really nice. I mean, obviously they are unlikely to have Ivan Toney for next season, so there's that to take into account. But you'd imagine they'll go and sign somebody else for that forward role.
Chai's gutted. Do you remember it was Chai bigging him up?
Oh yeah,
Chai's put a sad emoji in the chat.
He was so excited, wasn't he, about signing Noosa? Yeah, I've seen a few like Norwegian Spurs fans as well being like, "How have we not done this one?" But I don't think it's anything they did wrong. I think he just wants regular game time, and he'll get that at Brentford. And it's obviously proving to be a really good stepping stone club because they're well run. They're establishing themselves pretty well. So that's been interesting. But yeah, there's the transfer window's not firing at the moment. I mean, one of the biggest storylines might be like Broja or someone like that, and like it's hardly exciting. I mean, you're a Chelsea fan, and I doubt you care that much whether he stays or goes. And I'm a Fulham fan who's linked with signing him, and I don't really care if we sign him.
He was really good at Southampton, and I just feel like that might be kind of that mid to lower end Premier League club being the big fish in a smaller pond for a while might do him well. I'm not saying that's his ceiling. His ceiling is clearly, well, it's hard to kind of look at it and go, how high is the ceiling? Because he's so young and so raw and had a couple of big injuries. Clearly, he's well thought of, and price tag's going to be big because he's played Premier League football for Chelsea. But the money being talked about with Broja is like, yeah, that's at a rate you would sell him. But again, is there a buyer that wants to spend that much? It'll be interesting to see. Like, Chelsea clearly need a 9. Can we rely on Jackson for the run-in? Well, probably, because we've relied on him pretty much till now. And when you don't, you have Cole Palmer who can step in and play the role. Again, Cole Palmer has started 2 football matches for Chelsea as the number 9. Once in the first leg against Middlesbrough, where he clocked an XG of like +1, missed loads of big chances. And again, the other night, where again, I imagine his XG was +1, missed big chances. He hasn't had conversions in those 2 games at number 9, but what he has had is huge involvement. If Cole Palmer plays number 9 in FPL, I do think that will be a good thing. Sometimes do we see our midfielders playing number 9 and they look lost? Rashford, Sterling. But for others, it's a good thing for FPL, and Palmer will be one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. CH says, I've got a confession. I haven't watched football for a month. Who's looking good and who's falling apart? A month.
Foden. How long have we got?
Yeah, there's Foden. I mean, that's kind of what the show is going to be good for, a little revising session over what we need to know. There are Premier League matches from Tuesday again, and some big selection dilemmas. Look, Liverpool is obviously a big talking point because since we did a show, their manager's quit. I know he's still there, but
and Darwin and Jota, they're looking brilliant for FPL.
Yeah, so you've got Salah injured, Klopp's leaving, but you've got Darwin and Jota who are looking like really good FPL assets, and this is quite a big discussion now because getting this right for the next month, 6 weeks is going to be defining, isn't it?
Yeah, like Liverpool we'll talk more about blanks and doubles in tomorrow's show with Big Man Backer. And by the way, FPL Chai, if you want to join us tomorrow, this time slot tomorrow, which is I know is your lunch break, 1 till 2, DM me and we'll get you on if you fancy it, even if you can join for half an hour. World number 10 or 11, I think Chai is at the moment. Do check out his YouTube channel. But yeah, if you want to come on tomorrow, me and Big Man will talk about the blanks and doubles. But Dean, Liverpool will get the double probably because they're blanking in 26. I guess we're going to talk about Salah replacements. Should we talk about Salah as well, knowing he Egypt are now knocked out, right? So if he does return, we haven't got to worry about him going to play a semi-final or a final now. Originally, we were told 3-4 weeks. Liverpool with Trent said slightly longer than he was. I wonder if Salah is going to be back for 24 against Burnley in the double game week in 25. What's your take there? Like with Salah, is it a given that we have to sell Salah because we need the money to buy City assets or whatever? Or do you think there's a chance he comes back and in a game week or two and actually we're all scrambling around to try and accommodate him again?
Maybe. I mean, like, I've already ditched him, and I know I'm not the only one to have done that. So
Most
I think,
have,
I think like the fact that a lot of people have already got rid of him. I'm just checking his select. Yeah, he's 25% owned at the moment. So for the next few weeks, I think you're safe to not have him, especially given the fixtures of Chelsea and Arsenal. So like so you could definitely leave out the next couple of weeks while he recovers, and then once we get to Burnley for that match. I don't feel enough people have brought him back for it to be that big of a deal. So I think it's okay to have gone without him. It's actually going to be more important getting these next 2 weeks right in terms of who you've got in place of him. Salah hasn't been like consistent as over the course of the season. Like he's still going to be a good asset in this game. I'm sure we will all want him, but I mean, I would want Darwin or Jota right now. Like that's
save a lot of money as well. If you're covering Liverpool attack with those two,
exactly, and I would feel as safe having those two than knowing that Salah is coming back into that team because they're getting enough chances. I know Darwin's still going to miss some, but he's playing as good as I've seen him play for Liverpool. Even that Fulham game, he was a nightmare, mate.
Was he?
I know, yeah,
and that's the game in which he didn't return, but just looked on it.
But I don't know if you saw the one that I don't know if you saw the game, but there was one moment in the second half, and he twisted one of our. He literally did like this 360 turn almost, and he like completely turns and he whips one. It goes just wide of the angle. I was convinced I was like, this is it. It goes in the top corner, and we're done. I just missed. I was like, mate, that was good. Like that was good. And the other thing about Liverpool. These diagonal balls they play, they are an absolute nightmare for everybody. It's an interesting debate, actually, because once we get to the next version of Liverpool after Jurgen Klopp, it'll be interesting to see how they can allow this system to thrive. Because speaking on Ranks FC this morning, we did a podcast, and I was speaking to Jack about, obviously, Xabi Alonso is the favourite to be the...
Plays about 5, didn't he?
Yeah, and he doesn't play anything like the way that Liverpool play. Like most of Leverkusen's build-up play, so Jack tells me, comes through the middle.
Right.
So they're like play in the middle and then they break out from there. And they don't play like those diags. And I was like, it's Xabi Alonso. He loved that. He loved that. Like, he could play in this team and do that. So I feel like it's actually been quite important to Liverpool's evolution that they don't lose that because it is crushing to play against that team. And when they get that moment where they can ping it and switch play, they just murder people. And I think that's where Jota and Nunez come alive for me at the moment in this season. And I think that when you look at, to be honest, even Chelsea and Arsenal as fixtures, I don't think they're that scary.
Not for goals scored, they're not. I mean, whether they win the game or not,
whether
but
they win the game,
they're scoring
that's irrelevant
goals
to us. That's
which is all we care about.
Yeah. So that's something I would definitely be looking at.
That was my daughter screaming, Sachin. I'm glad you heard it.
I've got no kids in the house at the moment. I'm safe for the next few hours.
Looks like VAR, no VAR. 70% actually are in favour of VAR, which is interesting. Back to the Liverpool thing, Dean. I reckon I can't think of an example where a manager has stepped down from such an exciting looking team for the next phase. Usually we see managers depart teams like off the back of a bad season or off the back of like an aging team. This team, arguably, is the most exciting it's ever been under Jurgen Klopp. And this is a guy that's won Champions Leagues with Liverpool. But when you look at the youth in that team and the younger players that are stepping up at the moment, like I think Curtis Jones is playing really well. Elliott obviously looks a player Sabot-size young. That's just a midfield. Endo, McAllister. These are all fairly young guys. And then the fullbacks, like seeing the kid step in at right back play so well yesterday. It's like, God, Trent goes and this guy comes in. He's like Trent 2.0.
He is.
And then the front line, it's scary good. And I think this week, loads will look at Salah replacements and go, yeah, Jota, like playing up front, mid-price midfielder.
Yeah.
I don't know if they beat Chelsea and Arsenal, but I know they score goals in those two fixtures.
And that's why, do you know what? He is actually the best Salah replacement because he's an actual Salah replacement. Like he's a physical, he's a literal Salah replacement in that Liverpool team for output, but also for us in FPL. I think you can trust that the minutes he's going to get, the chances he's going to get, make him actually the best Salah replacement. Oh, Cam, happy birthday.
If we could send Cam a super chat today, we would.
Mate, we would give you your tenner back today, 100%.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, mate.
Are you on daddy duty today, Cam, or you're fully in work mode? Let us know. But yeah, happy birthday, mate.
But yeah, so I do think Jota is the actual Salah replacement here, but beyond, I mean, KDB is hard to ignore. Very hard to ignore.
We've got a really good graphic to show you. I wonder if we should talk KDB before we show you all the numbers, because we're going to compare Jota, KDB, Richarlison, and a few others. But before we show you all the geeky stuff, let's just chat about De Bruyne in general then, because Jota, we know what we're getting. We're getting Liverpool's number 9, but we know if Big Man Backer was here, he'd say not the best entry point. He'd use that term, I think. But he might argue that actually entry points are relevant because Liverpool score loads of goals. But Chelsea and Arsenal, for Liverpool players, those two fixtures aren't as sexy as, say, jumping on a Man City player who's got a sea of green and a guaranteed double game week. Jota in 24 plays Burnley and should have a double game week in 25. So I think Jota's going to get a lot of love, and Darwin. If they're not this week, they will get a lot ahead of 24. But Man City, we all thought De Bruyne was going to start versus Spurs, or we thought by now we would have seen a 60-minute version of De Bruyne. We've seen a 21-minute, I think, and a 25-minute plus added time. Is Burnley at home a fixture? And I don't know if I can spin the narrative either way to suit my agenda here. Is it he's had 5 days rest, he's 5 days further on his recovery, it's an easy game to ease him back into, therefore 60 minutes works? Or is it we beat Burnley easily without De Bruyne, he's clearly not ready to start, that's why he's only had 20-25 minutes, and we'll give him another 20-25 minutes and he can express himself at the end of an open game?
That's it. And I don't know the answer to that yet, but I do know that I'm going to be replacing Foden with De Bruyne.
Oh, are you?
I am, yeah.
Wait, can't you keep Foden? Oh, you've got 3 City, haven't you?
I've got 3 City. And obviously I've got Alvarez, who I actually want to get rid of anyway, but don't really want to take the hit right now.
You can't sell Foden.
But I can, because I need to like the sensible for you. No, you can't sell Foden for De Bruyne. You can't do that. I kind of haven't got anything to lose.
Oh, you're not the first to say this, to be fair.
I have, what is my aim in FP? I don't really have one except to try and keep up with you, basically, since I've been doing this show, and it's a bit of an arduous task, to be honest. But the only way that I could play catch up a bit is to try something like this. And in 2 weeks' time, everyone's going to own Kevin De Bruyne, probably. So why don't I just try and get ahead of the curve? Burnley at home, hoping that even if he doesn't start, even if he does only get 25 minutes, it's 25 minutes of Kevin De Bruyne at his best against Burnley. Now, for me, that doesn't matter whether City need a breakthrough or if they're already 3-0 up. Don't feel like there's any losing situation. And then Brentford, Everton, Chelsea, they play Brentford again, Bournemouth. I mean, they're all games where you're going to be seeing De Bruyne. And then you get Haaland coming into the mix. That old combination we used to talk about, which people seem to have been forgetting, by the way. I talked to someone the other day who was saying, he was genuinely telling me at the weekend, I saw him at this party we were at, and he said, what do you think of, do you think Haaland's actually that important to Man City? Because I feel like they're better without him. I was like, no one is better without Haaland.
Without the world's best number 9.
He's like, yeah, but you look at his goals. I was like, he hasn't been playing with De Bruyne, though.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been forgotten that,
it's the best combination in the league.
It's the best combination in the league. They are on the same wavelength. They're as good. Like, it was unbelievable when that was at its peak. And if this City team is going to do what they need to do and to stop Klopp going out on a high, then it has to thrive again. And so as soon as I can, I want the De Bruyne Haaland thing back. And as I say, for me to make up some ground in this game, I'm going to try and get both those guys in the first week where it looks like it's worthwhile or realistic to start getting them back in the fold.
Yeah. And look, Man City, Dean's given the fixtures there, guys, but also they're a team in which we know double in 25, but also have a fixture in 26. If Liverpool get the double in 25, it's because they have the blank in 26. So straight away you go, I'll get triple Liverpool. Oh, now I've got the headache in 26. We'll talk more about chip strategy tomorrow with Big Man. But with City, you don't have that headache. You just keep them because they play in 26. Actually, they've got really good fixtures now. So I would look at where you want to be in 25 for that double. And if in 25, you know you're going to own De Bruyne, and you know you're going to own Foden, you know you're going to have a third City player, get them in now. Maybe not Haaland because we don't think he's ready, but get them in now and take hits to get the perfect City 3 now, or be able to be on the perfect City 3 next week when you buy Haaland, because it's going to pay off immediately. So, like Dean, you're rightly thinking, how can I be different? And De Bruyne to Foden might be the move for you. But actually, if you're worried about Alvarez minutes in the next couple of weeks anyway, I would go Walker, De Bruyne, Foden, and take a hit and remove Alvarez, because you know Foden over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks is going to be the main man. I think so. You know, he got player of the match again at the weekend. And I know this doesn't always translate to fantasy points. And it always doesn't get you 3. I reckon since the Club World Cup, the game before, I think they played Luton, where he did get player of the match. Again, blanked in FPL. Let's say the last 10 Man City games, including the 2 at the Club World Cup, there may have been a Champions League game in there. I can't remember, but some cup games. I reckon Phil Foden's a player of the match in, say, 7 of those 10, roughly. Like, he has been that good. Every week, player of the match. It's going to translate to FPL points. If it hasn't already, it's going to, I think. I'm captaining Foden this week.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good point. I guess you have to weigh up the points loss of giving away 4 for the extra transfer to the upside of Foden over Alvarez as well. I mean, what's the difference going to be in that? That's probably either because Alvarez can score against Burnley,
True.
and if Foden only gives 1 goal, I think he gets a goal and assist. I mean, I know he's still going to get more points. That's a really tough call, but you're right. I probably should weigh it up more.
If Haaland's coming off the bench as well, we know Alvarez is losing minutes. Foden should be good for 90. But again, I guess we don't know if Haaland's going to be on the bench. Maybe Pep gives us a little bit more info. He did, to be fair, tell us Pep wasn't ready for the Spurs game. So I do think press conferences, and again, I'm waiting for an update on Salah, because I'm like, as someone that still owns him, I'm not 100%. Let's show the graphic of the best Salah replacements.
Yeah.
And we'll do a poll in the chat. Are you selling Salah this week? Yes, no. And we'll give a third option. I don't currently own him. Because I don't want you voting yes or no if you've already sold him. So are you removing Salah this week? Yes, no, don't own. I'm really interested. I think the vast majority are going to sell him. And I think I'll probably end up selling him. So this is from Fantasypedia. Guys, shout out Fantasypedia from FPL Twitter. They're an amazing account. We've put their handle there at the bottom as well, which is really cool. So you can just easily copy and paste that or write that into your Twitter search bar. They uploaded this graphic yesterday. Straight away, I was like, that's the best comparison I've seen in terms of all the big names, because these are all worth considering.
Yep.
And then we get all their per 90 information. We've not gone De Bruyne on this list because we've already discussed De Bruyne. When we look at these, just goals per 90 straight away, like Jota is just head and shoulders, isn't he? 0.81. So pretty much every game he's close to a goal per 90. Like, that's how good he is.
Yeah. This is the thing, and I haven't even considered, I'm talking up De Bruyne here, and I haven't even given thought to the fact I don't actually have any Liverpool players in my team at the moment. And so, Jota, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you are talking about them playing Chelsea and Arsenal. There is that thing that sticks in your head, like, well, you don't need him. Like, you can get by for these 2 weeks without him because he's not a must-have. And Jota's, 10% owned or something, I'm guessing, like, by now. Yeah. I'm sure it's on the up and people are buying him. Maybe it gets up towards 20 by the time we get to tomorrow. I'm not sure. But logic and the stats will tell you that he is the player to turn to right now. And it's just, I mean, you support Chelsea. What are the flaws and what is the chances of Jota flourishing in that game whereby it's worth getting him in straight away?
I mean, they've not had the best season defensively, but recently they've actually looked pretty solid. And against Villa again on Friday night, like, Chelsea kept Villa very quiet. But Liverpool Anfield, and it's the Klopp effect. I mean, we saw it against Norwich. Like, I feel like this Liverpool team is the best attack at the moment. They're better than City. They are the best attack. And when you look, and Jamie Carragher tweeted after the Liverpool game, last Premier League game, I think it's like saying, is Jota the best finisher we've had? He compared him to Fowler and Suarez and Torres. And when we look at this chat, this column, on the third column, expected goals per 90, all of them are pretty similar. They all get around half a goal expected of them per game, right? Richarlison the highest. Compare column 3 with column 1. Column 1 is the actual goals per 90. Well, Jota's expected should be 0.56 and he clocks 0.81. He massively overachieves his XG. Compare that to Richarlison, who slightly underachieves it. And it's that efficient finishing that makes me love Jota as an FPL asset, because we're fortunate. He's listed as a midfielder. He should never be listed as a midfielder, playing number 9 for Liverpool. So you get the extra point for a goal. You get the clean sheet point as well. I guess minutes is sometimes a concern with Jota because of his injuries, and he has been out for a while, and there is only 3 days, I think, between the 2 games. But yeah, as Chai says, he's almost as good at finishing as Son. And I would argue Son is head and shoulders above every player in the Premier League. There's Son and then there's everyone else. Jota maybe is at number 2. So it's for that I love Jota. He's also got a bit of creativity. When we look at big chances created per 90, again, he's keeping good company. And sure, look, Foden, in terms of chances created per 90, 2.35 there. Jota is third. You know, Gross is highest, Foden, then Jota. So you get a bit of everything with him.
So if you were in my shoes, is there another consideration here whereby I just stick with Walker, Foden, Alvarez as my 3-man cities and actually just bring in Jota to the team?
I think so. I think it's a really strong consideration for you, especially if buying De Bruyne this week hinders Haaland next. And that's the question everyone's got to ask themselves. We're not talking about Haaland for obvious reasons this week, but I'm sure next week we're going to be faced with, City go to Brentford. They've got another good fixture, and then they've got a double game week, and we all don't have Haaland in our team. And we want him, and we want to captain him. Yeah. So I think whatever sets yourself up best for Haaland this week needs to be front of mind. And for me, it's between Jota and De Bruyne if I sell Salah. Richarlison's the other one. The thing that puts me off Richarlison is we know he doesn't play in game week 26. I think if you own Richarlison this week, you could argue he's a good captaincy option, but I just don't think he's one necessarily for me now. I wonder if I'm a little bit too late to that party. So I look at this list. If you don't own Foden, it's Foden, Jota, or De Bruyne. If you already own Foden, it's Jota or De Bruyne for me.
And how many more weeks have we got without Son?
Oh, good point. I think they're through to the knockouts, but I don't know who they've got. They avoided Japan, didn't they? I think there was a real possibility they were going to get Japan in the last 16. Someone let us know in the chat. Where's Sonny?
Yeah, that's in the chat. I know our producer's been watching it quite close. He can drop it in there. But that is the other, because I've still got Son in my team. I just haven't replaced him yet.
He plays Saudi tomorrow, and Saudi have been doing all right. Well,
of course they're playing Saudi. Yeah.
I think they've been underperforming Saudi, but serve South Korea. So
that's a big
tomorrow,
game.
You'll know.
That's a really big game. So I'll hang on then, because maybe I don't want to get rid of Son, which was going to be the guy I just had in my head. I got rid of Salah 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Son was just going to be ready to go. But yeah, Son is ready for the next game week, says Vizani. That does make things interesting, because obviously we're talking about Richarlison as the best Salah replacement. And I mean, obviously, like, he's not, is he? Like, in terms of as a footballer, like he's not. In terms of this game, like, we have to consider him a good own, because he plays all the time. He's in the best positions. He gets chances. But how many of us have any faith in Richarlison delivering?
I don't. And honestly, FPL Twitter's talking like Richarlison like he's prime R9. And I still think there's a question mark over when Son is back. I'm saying it until I'm blue in the face, and everyone sort of sniggers a little bit and goes, no, Richarlison's nailed. I think we're naive to think that. There will be games where the front three is Kulu on the right, Son down the middle, and Werner on the left. Now, that they will be games in which he wants to hit him on the counter, and having Son and Werner is needed. Look, Werner has gone with guarantees of starts. Like, not saying he's going to start every game, but there will be games in which it's Richarlison or Werner. And when it's Werner, he'll probably be on the left. And when it's Richarlison will be 9 and Son will be left. Sure, we understand that. But there are games in which Postecoglou wants his best finisher playing in the position I think Son wants to play in. I think Son alluded to it in an interview just before he went to the Asia Cup. He likes playing 9 in this particular team.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting. Like, Richarlison's not nailed. He's nailed at the moment. But as soon as Son's back, he's not.
Oh, 100%. Like, Son is Tottenham's number 9. Mate,
FPL Twitter will not have you saying that. Honestly, I've been saying it for weeks, and I'm like, just because you own him in FPL now, you think he's R9.
No, 100% Son is playing that position as soon as he comes back. Like,
yeah, not every game, but he's in the mix for it, right? It's not a gimme. Yeah.
So if someone said it's a 4 o'clock kickoff for Son tomorrow, so it's just before deadline that game will be finishing up.
That's amazing.
Obviously, it gives
minutes before the deadline at 6.
And you can see if he's gone out or not. I'll have a replacement prime. I mean, obviously, he won't be playing this game week. But
what if it goes to extra time and pens? The deadline would have passed.
You're stuck. Yeah, you just got to go ahead with your transfer. But that is definitely a consideration for me, knowing that I might not have to get rid of Son for that game week that follows, and I'll just maybe kind of get through with what I've got. I mean, there's this. I was so set in my mind, mate, before starting this show, and I've already got 3 different ideas now in my head. This is actually getting quite annoying. But
I think for me, if I'm replacing Salah, if I'm replacing him, I'm pretty sure it is with De Bruyne over Jota. But that's for 2 reasons. I've got Haaland money. It leaves me enough to still go Haaland, and I already own Darwin. So again, I've got Liverpool attack covered. Sure, Jota could outscore Darwin, and I want them both eventually, but if you've got Darwin, then maybe you go, I don't necessarily need Jota now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know if I was without all those, and in your situation, maybe I'd prefer Jota to De Bruyne. But I am very worried about De Bruyne minutes. Like, sure, he could get 30 and perform well, but in an ideal world, we want our assets starting. One thing for sure is if I buy De Bruyne, I won't be captaining him. I am still captaining Foden this game week because it's purely a minutes play. But look, let's see our teams. Guys, we need your help because we've got movement this week in the Chaser team. CH, you're going to be leading this one for us. We've got transfers to make. We've got 2 free transfers. We've got money in the bank. We're going to see Dean and my team and the Chaser team all coming up next. Guys, I would love you all to hit that like button. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel as well. But let's check out our teams.
Yeah, so not really much more to add from what I was saying, really, as the Son conundrum, whether to swap out Foden for De Bruyne. I've obviously got loads of money in the bank at the moment, so getting Haaland in isn't a problem as and when that's appropriate. Happy to bring Gordon into the team this week, so that will be something I look at later on today. So to be honest, like not that much going on here. I haven't really looked at my goalkeeper situation. What's that, Dubravka or Turner? I don't know what I'm doing with those 2.
That is a hard one, isn't it? That's got really tricky for fixtures. Maybe Turner at home, you just back the home advantage. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I'm not overly optimistic on that anyway. But yeah, nearly £12 million in the bank, mate. So this is
money ain't an issue, is it?
Not
you
an
can buy De Bruyne and Haaland quite comfortably.
This is, and this was the plan. Like someone just said, "Oh, we'll spend some money now," but this was the whole point. It says you're stashing money. No, like I said a million times, I'm terrible with money. But for the first time in my life, I'm proud to look at my bank balance, especially it's only FPL. But it's because I want Haaland and De Bruyne early, and I want to make sure that I'm good on that front. And I've got any fallback plans too that might have come my way during this spell of weird games and stuff where injuries might have set in. But looks like I'm okay on that front. But
I get why you're thinking about Foden though now, because I was like sell Alvarez to Tony, and then swap Foden with but keep Foden and buy De Bruyne. So Son. But then next week you're like, oh, I can't get Haaland because I've already got 3 Man City.
Yeah.
If you keep Alvarez this week, you can sell him for Haaland next, right? Which I
Yeah.
guess is your plan.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah. That's where I'm at. So, yeah, we'll have a look at this tonight, I imagine.
Nice. Well, I look forward to hearing more, mate. We'll get press conferences, I guess, throughout the day tomorrow, right? A lot of the big teams play on Wednesday this week, but we'd still likely get a press conference on. We'll get Tuesday press conferences, right?
Yeah, we'll get Tuesday presses. There was a few today, I think, wasn't there? I saw there's a Newcastle one going on and stuff. So there's presses, obviously, for these. A lot of the chat is obviously around transfers and stuff at the moment, so there might not be quite as much insight as there sometimes can be when there's not as much to talk about. But we'll have to wait and see.
Gabriel is flagged. We look forward to hopefully hearing something from Arteta or seeing training ground photos. He wasn't pictured in training last week, Gabriel is a big thorn in my side this week. Dean has got players that can come in. He's got the likes of Gordon, who could easily start for him. Let's have a look at my team. I really need Gabriel playing because my defender 4, like you, Dean, is Lascelles, but then I don't have. I've got Taylor, but I don't want either of these two playing, and Lascelles obviously won't. So if Gabriel is injured, my transfer could be really simple. It might drive me towards owning a Man City defender, which wasn't the plan. Or you could argue I could go straight back to Trent. But my plan this week, without the Gabriel news, was simply sell Salah to De Bruyne or roll the transfer. If I sell Salah to De Bruyne, great. I can then go harder next week, and that could be my three city attackers, which is quite fun. But then it means I'm benching one of those front 7 players currently on the pitch. Like, having Salah in my squad at the moment actually eases the headache. I don't have a benching headache every week. It's like, great, I don't have to bench Solanke or Palmer or Pascal Gross. But as things stand, if I buy Salah for De Bruyne, I am benching Palmer, Pascal Gross or Solanke. But I tell you right now, guys, many will bench Palmer because the fixture. He will not be on my bench. Never. Penalties, potentially playing number 9, Chelsea's best and only good player. So I'd probably have to bench Pascal Gross because I don't think I can bench Solanke either.
No, that's a good point. It's tough. I mean, a couple of points that are coming in on the comments. One, why is the picture of Gabriel actually one of Gabby Jesus?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That is definitely Gabriel Jesus and not Gabriel the defender. So,
that's amazing. Was he Jesus for your team or just for mine?
No, I don't know, actually. That's a good point.
Let's have a look.
Sure. Yeah, there he is.
We didn't. Mate, your team clearly isn't scrutinised as much as mine.
Yeah, that's a good spot. Well done. We just did that to you guys, see if you knew what your players look like. Gabriel Jesus won't be playing at centre back. A few people asking earlier about Saka, because he is off, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's off. And sacrifice is something someone says. Sacrifice him.
I guess I am willing to sell. Like, if we got an update that Salah was going to be better in a week or two, I could go Saka to De Bruyne, and I wouldn't completely rule that move out.
Yeah.
I have lost faith in, and actually,
62% owned.
Mate, highest owned in the game.
Why?
Because people are scared.
Said it for weeks and weeks. It's been rubbish.
Fear factor, FOMO. That's all it is. No one's holding Saka because they think he's banging in a hat-trick at the weekend.
No. Probably will now, though. Everyone's going to sell him.
I mean, it's Liverpool after that, and then going to West Ham's not easy.
No, true. I 100% think people should be jumping off him. I just don't see the point anymore.
What do you think about Watkins? Because many will go next week. Like, I'll probably end up going Watkins to Haaland. But I could go Solanke to Haaland. But I like Solanke's... The next 3, there's not much in it for fixtures. Like, Villa fixtures are great. Longer term, they're better than Bournemouth's. But Solanke at his price point feels so much more, I guess, reliable at the price point. In terms of value, I'm getting a lot better out of Solanke than I am with Watkins, who's almost 2 million more.
Yeah, I do think Watkins will get more points, but I don't think enough to be worth that 2 million. Yeah, I think that's a good point, and that's a conundrum a lot of people are going to have to face up to now that Haaland's on the comeback trail. So that's interesting. I mean, obviously you're having to put your trust in Darwin here, which is a very nerve-wracking place to be, because even though genuinely looking really good, Liverpool really happy with him, in FPL, it doesn't correlate, does it? And you've got to hope that he's on this.
This is his time, mate. This is his
time,
now.
mate.
He's playing with confidence. He's even scoring one-on-ones.
Yeah, you've stuck with him through worse periods than this, so you've definitely got to stick by it.
But I said the other day, I was like, no one's owned Darwin more than me. Since
Honestly,
Darwin joined the game last season, I reckon I've owned him 5 or 6 times.
At times when you've kept him, yeah.
So look, that's where I'm at. Foden captain, I don't think it's moving. The big question for me is, if Gabriel's out, do I sell the sells to a Walker or a Trent? If not, do I roll a transfer and keep Salah? I feel like if I keep Salah this week, I'm keeping him till he's back. Yeah. Or do I just go big and just punt on De Bruyne? Because I am so tempted to punt on De Bruyne. I don't know. Part of the reason why I'm so tempted to punt on De Bruyne, mate, not going to lie, is because FPL, like, sure, the masses are buying him. He's gone up 0.3 already this week. But FPL Twitter, which is where I spend far too much time, they're all, and content creators in general, they're not buying De Bruyne at all. They're not even looking at it. They're like, no.
Really?
Yeah, because most of FPL Twitter is fairly cautious, right? So, and fairly templatey. Therefore, they're not going to go for players that aren't nailed to play 90. And I'm buying someone that could play 20 here.
I mean, absolutely.
But that makes me want him more.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to set yourself apart, mate, in that world. And if it was to be a big win, that's what I've done with
Darwin.
Yeah, yeah, Darwin and De Bruyne.
I'm Foden. I'm Foden, like, you know. Yeah. And so far, I'm having such a good season. I'm like, do I really want to? Like, I spoke to Ali, your hanger off, about this. Ali's buying De Bruyne, and again, Ali doesn't manage like an FPL Twitter or content creator would. That's why he won the thing.
Yeah.
Most manage to get good ranks, not to win it.
Yeah.
Ali plays to win. And Ali's like, yeah, of course I'm going De Bruyne. Like,
I mean, when you put it like that, that's what always gets me. It's like, of course, the Kevin De Bruyne. Like, why would I not be picking Kevin?
Haaland's injured. De Bruyne's fit enough to start, and look at the fixtures. And we're all selling Salah and Son, so we've got money. But he actually then said to me, if I was at your rank, maybe don't. And I'm like, yeah, he doesn't want that responsibility of saying sell, you know, buy someone that's risky. But I get it. Ali's chasing. He's at 700k. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, entry points.
When you see what Ali's done, when you see what Chai's doing at the moment, and how high is without ever owning Haaland and stuff like that, I think that it goes to show you've just got to be your own person, really, and just go with your hunch.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, I'll give it some thought and let you know where I am at tomorrow when we talk with Big Man, and who will definitely not be even considering De Bruyne, and he'll be first to tell us that. But let's see. Maybe he can turn me away from him. And maybe I need that. All right, let's see the Chaser team, shall we? Guys, we need your help here. This is where you come into your own. Now, the Chaser team has zero influence from outside sources other than the chat. Dean and I are literally just here to moderate.
Right.
4.2 in the bank, though. Dean, I know you're here and we're here only to moderate, but you got any suggestions for this team? There's no light blue. There is no Man City blue in this team.
That is unbelievable, isn't it? Well, I've got 3 Liverpool, but 2 of them have got flags, red flags too. So
Jesus is back.
That's not good. So well with the picture guy and showing that Gabriel Jesus does not play 2 different positions. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Liverpool players, we've got 3 Liverpool players here, and 2 of them definitely aren't in. So that's where our focus is. But you've also got an out of form Saka. You've got the worry over Lascelles and Gabriel. I mean, something's got to be done in defence, because you literally can't put one out at this stage. But there's 2 transfers, so there is some room here to manoeuvre, and I think the front line's fine, so that's okay. So it's really, I mean, a lot of what we're getting. Garnacho to Foden, says Copycat, which I quite like. Mohammed says Salah to KDB. Johan says Saka to KDB. It's got to be KDB. Looks like that's the vibe of the group at the moment. Got a couple of shots for Elise that have come in. Captain De Bruyne, says Paul Cook. KDB and Jota in, says Naveed. Tom says, "Oh, Trent is no longer a red flag." Oh, yeah, that's a good point. He's not. He's not.
Did he
actually.
come on? I can't remember. Did he feature? I think he may have come off the bench.
Did he?
I think he got a few minutes. I think so.
Oh,
Let us know in the chat.
I didn't
I don't
watch the
know.
whole game.
I didn't watch any of it,
saw
to be fair.
I saw Bradley was playing well.
Yeah,
I wasn't paying close enough attention to it.
I think when Darwin went off, Trent came on. I just checked Darwin's minutes. I did notice Jota played 90, but Darwin played 60. Diaz played 60-ish. Yeah, he came on.
Okay. Well, if Trent's got a chance of playing, then maybe that's not the end of the world. Then that one.
A lot. Should we just do a vote before we do transfers out? Should we just say, do you guys want De Bruyne? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way to do it because that's the big question, isn't it, for the week?
Yeah, are we accommodating De Bruyne or not? So, guys, let us know if we're going De Bruyne. If we are, it's going to be a Salah sell. Maybe the question should be, shall we do Salah to De Bruyne? Yes or no? We can then still talk about Jota as an option, and we'll give Jota.
Yep.
Just trying to get vote because I don't think we can. We could go Salah to De Bruyne, and then we can pretty much sell Garnacho to Jota or anyone.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. The poll. Let's do. Ask if Saka. Okay. Let's do a poll, which is: shall we buy Jota, De Bruyne, or both? I don't know. CH is going to have. I'll ask if Salah sell. I don't know if that's the best question though, CH, because then we're not giving a replacement. People will just say, yeah.
Yes, wasting 5 minutes. We only have 9.
Here we go. Shall we buy Jota, De Bruyne, or both?
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to do it. And then we can figure out who we need to get out. It's going to be tight by the looks of things early doors. It's either going to be both or KDB. So let's see how this pans out.
Where will you vote here, Dean? We don't want to influence too much, but I mean, no.
I
now
think this team
50,
needs both.
Yeah, now 50 votes are in. We can give our opinion, can't we?
I think both. I think this team needs both. I mean, I think it's obvious ways to get there. I think this team needs a big uplift, and it's there to be done. So the vote isn't going the way of both at the moment.
Oh, is it not? I'm a fan of both as well.
No, at the moment it's not. It's just KDB at this stage. So we'll give you guys a couple more minutes just in case you do want to have an influence on that. There's about 60 votes in there at the moment, but there's only 300 of you watching. So if you can reach over to your phone or your laptop or whatever, have a quick vote.
The benefit of both
run over and do that now.
Your super cautious non-influence decisions are making me laugh to CH. If you go both, you get the benefit of already being on triple Liverpool that are playing, and you're a step ahead on De Bruyne. I think captaincy over the next few weeks, having Jota and De Bruyne in your team could be quite tasty. But yeah, at the moment it does look like De Bruyne's
going to be De Bruyne. Yeah, I think it's just going to be De Bruyne.
Okay, maybe the team, if they don't want Jota, then it's just a one transfer a week, and we make sure we've got enough for Haaland next. So maybe let's cap that and do a question: do we roll the second transfer? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, mate.
Maybe it's just De Bruyne in and we roll the second transfer.
Yeah, KDB's definitely won that vote. He ended up running away with it. So KDB will be coming into the side, and we'll now set up that second vote to see what we do about the second one, which, to be fair, isn't necessary now.
CH says, who do we sell? We'll do a poll for the De Bruyne replacement based on the answer of do we roll the second transfer? Because if, for example, because then you've got the combinations. I think I'm gonna vote about the second transfer that maybe we just, if you guys don't want Jota, maybe it's.
I would roll it. I think I would roll it because it's a good situation to be in the week after, especially if Haaland's coming back into the mix, if Son's going to be back available again, if we've got a return date on Salah, there's a lot of potential there, and there's not many teams I've seen that have got 2-3 transfers available at the moment, so I think that could be quite handy.
Okay. Well, we've got enough money to go Saka to De Bruyne, and we could keep Salah and bench him, or we can sell Salah. So let's poll: do we sell Saka or Salah for De Bruyne?
Yeah, Yeah, we're definitely rolling the second transfer. So we'll
Nice.
start a new poll on which one of those we get rid of. Obviously, Salah won't be playing this week, and Saka will. But we'll try and push you to think a little bit longer term than that. And the fact that Salah might only be a couple of weeks away from a game which would potentially give him a big haul, and you'd have him. So there's that to consider.
I
That
know
should be there in a
our
minute.
producer's going to be gutted though, because this is his team, right? We've got control of his team. For full clarity, guys, this isn't a second team. You're not allowed them in FPL. So the producer's given up his team this season, and he said to us before he went on, he really wants to make 2 transfers.
And he ain't going to get it.
Although he is going to get a poll around Areola or Martinez in goal and Captainez. We've still got quite a few bit to get through, haven't we?
Yeah, that's actually true. We'll make this one quick. Do we sell Saka or Salah? Salah has got 68%. I thought
they're going to go the other way there.
I'm really surprised that many of you want to get rid of Salah. But this is the whole point. This is why we have this team.
Let's lock that in. Salah is done, which might give us enough in the bank next week to easily get to Haaland, which yes, maybe is a smart move, right? I think Watkins to Haaland might be a popular one next week. So look, that's that. If Salah's gone, we've got to bench an attacker. So are we benching Garnacho or Gordon? I think that, or Palmer, or Solanke. I think we need to vote who we're benching out of those 4 attackers: Garnacho, Gordon, Palmer, or Solanke.
Garnacho, Palmer, Gordon, Solanke. That's actually quite tough, isn't it?
I think I would vote Garnacho.
I mean,
I think
I would. Yeah.
Wolves are winning that at home.
I mean, just watching. I did watch the second half of Man United against Newport, and it was just ridiculous that they even put themselves in that situation. I like Garnacho, but I'm not backing him at Wolves in this form, in this Man United team, to go out and do anything special at all, even though I do really like him. So I would agree. I would say Garnacho for the chop there.
We've got 3 minutes to do 3 polls.
Okay.
Gordon, Palmer, Solanke or Garnacho to be benched. Then we'll poll the goalkeeper. Then we'll poll captaincy. Here we go. Who are we benching? Poll. We're going to leave it on screen for... You got 15 seconds to vote, guys. We're getting through. Guys, as you're voting, hit the like button, will you? This is great TV. This is fantastic.
Oh, mate, this is exactly what YouTube was made for. This is what they imagined. Right, I voted straight away. Did Garnacho win that? He must.
Yeah, Garnacho bench. Right, so we're benching Garnacho. On the defensive bench, it's obviously Lascelles, and we'll have Branthwaite first defender sub. So if Gabriel or Trent don't play, we'll have Branthwaite come in. Let's do goalkeeper. Who to start? Areola or Martinez? God, that's hard. I think I would go Emmy. Maybe he was so good on Friday night. He got man of the match. He got player of the match. Yeah. He's such a good goalkeeper, and Villa are amazing at home.
They are. But I was going to go the other way, but
well, yeah. Do you fancy Solanke and Bournemouth to get a goal though against West Ham?
Well, yeah, but I fancy Newcastle too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more. There should be more to that question. That's
what it's going to come down to here. Yeah, that's not really what my. That's not what my decision is.
Oh, they're as split as we are, mate.
Yeah, no one knows here. This is just a toss of a coin.
Should we cap it at 70?
Yeah, well, it's literally going to be toss a coin. It's 60 votes in, 50-50. If you can reach over and vote, do it now. Come away from your computers, people.
All right, we'll cap it at 65. We've got 3. I'm on 62.
Oh, your man's going to get the nod.
Oh, 3 of you. Come on. Oh, good Lord. Where are you?
You might just have to leave it.
All right, let's leave it. There we go. Martinez, 51%.
Yeah.
Bang. Yeah. All right, captaincy's a big one this week. Remember, this team that we see on screen owns De Bruyne, okay? We don't know how many minutes he's going to get. So captaincy options this week are De Bruyne or Darwin or Saka or Watkins. We go those 4?
Yeah.
De Bruyne, Darwin, Saka, Watkins.
Yeah.
We will cap it. We're going to say now at 60. right? Get voting, guys, because we're going to cap it at 60 votes because we don't know where this is going to go. I really don't know where this is going to go.
Oh,
wow. De Bruyne
I
getting a
haven't
lot of
voted
love.
yet. Wow,
The
it's
vice
massive.
captain will be the second popular vote.
Okay, so KDB.
And vice Darwin. That's locked in.
Skippering the Chasers.
No Foden, British 87, because Foden's not in our team. This is for the Chaser team. Darwin for Gianni says sexy beast. Yeah, I don't write these polls, guys, but yeah, okay. They think that it's because I've because Darwin's in capital letters, it looks like I've done it.
I've done that.
There we go, guys. We are going to be captaining KDB. Watch him start and bag a hat trick. And the Chase team will no longer be at 1.6 million rank. They'll be at 1.5 million rank next week.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Brilliant.
Love that. Dean, that was fun.
That was fun, mate.
We got a deadline again on Saturday. So we'll be back on Friday doing the same thing.
Yes. Blimey.
Another Chaser team special.
Yeah, that was a real blitz through the FPL world. That was. I got a headache.
Oh, mate. The worst thing is on Friday now, we've still got 2 free transfers.
Oh, no.
Can we just lose a transfer?
Ridiculous.
Oh, there we go. Maybe it'll be easier because we'll just go Haaland in and captain because he's going to come off the bench against Burnley, get half an hour, get a brace, and we're all going to go, why don't we have Haaland in our teams?
Yeah.
Let's see. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Me, Big Man Backer, and FPL Chai might drop by for a little chat as well. Watch this space. If you're just tuning in, go back and watch the last hour. Loads of fun. Likes and subscribes welcome. We'll see you very soon. Good luck this game week, but we'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m.